Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Maya with Simply Bloom. So today I am doing a June garden tour. No, oh my gosh, it's not June, it's July. I'm doing a July garden tour. Now I really debated for a long time about doing these tours. I've wanted to do a tour for a long time, but it's hard because we have a lot of half-finished projects that we're waiting on supplies or waiting on things. You know, we've had lines marked, so running through my flower beds there's like paint and flags to mark electrical lines, and there's just a lot going on. And I had foot surgery this May, like right in the beginning of the season. I had foot surgery. I couldn't even walk for 3 weeks, and then after the 3 weeks it was like a good couple weeks before I could actually walk really well and actually get out there and do stuff. So I feel like I've lost like 5 weeks of the garden season. I live in zone 3, northern Minnesota. That's like pretty much almost a third of our garden season that I just lost. It's been difficult. I've been trying my best, but I look around and I see all the stuff that still needs to get done. I'm like, man, I don't want to show them until stuff's done. But then I remember last year, I wish I would have done more tours. I wish I would have shown you stuff even though it wasn't perfect, because I wish I could go back and see that before and after. So here I am. Please excuse. There's just a lot, you know. My plan was this spring to edge all the flower beds first thing in the spring and make the edges just really beautiful. And then I had surgery, and I kind of went on some mass shopping sprees, and we got a lot of plants early May before I even knew I was gonna have to have foot surgery. So we bought all this stuff that's just been sitting in their containers. So I'm really trying to just focus on getting those planted out instead. And here we are in July, and I still haven't edged any of my flower beds, so please excuse that. But here I am just opening myself and showing you the perfections, the imperfections, everything, just so I can go back and look. So I want to start with here. This is probably one of my favorite spots. Let me turn you a little bit so you can see. This is the entrance of our driveway, and I just love this here. Oh my gosh. So we have some hydrangea standards or hydrangea trees that go along the lane, and it goes every other one. So this is a phantom hydrangea. They look very similar, but there's a phantom, and then it's a limelight, and then another phantom, and I love it. But one thing about this garden tour, this isn't a lot of the stuff, like I said, I bought early May, and that was probably at least like 3 to 5 weeks ahead of what would have naturally occurred if it was breaking dormancy here in Minnesota. So none of my hydrangea standards are blooming. You can barely see like their little buds that are about this big. So this is, like I said, probably like 3 to 5 weeks ahead. And there's a lot of stuff in my garden that's new this year. I've created 3 new flower beds already, and there's just a lot of stuff that's way ahead of schedule. So keep in mind, this is not what July would normally look like in Minnesota, but this is what it currently looks like now. So I'm going to grab you, turn you around, and kind of show you a few things. Okay, so there's my hydrangea standards. I love them. So I actually got 6 that are lining the driveway. The driveway goes in like a teardrop around there. So you can see there's 3, and in between each standard is a whiskey barrel, and I love them. Oh my gosh, do I love them. So we have Creeping Jenny. We have some Dusty Miller hiding in there. We have some geraniums that I started by seed. They are so close to blooming. I started them way too late, so we don't have blooms yet, but they're close. And then I have 3 different wave petunias. I'm not sure the varieties. I guess I can't remember. But there's a yellow, pink, and more pink. And some of them I have, you can see, like purple. I know that one's called blue, but I just call it purple. And then in the middle, which is the fail, the reason why you're probably like, that's weird, why is there a tomato cage? In the middle, I have mandevilla. And I was reading mandevilla can grow 6 to 10 feet in a growing season. That must be somewhere with more heat because it's just it's just getting choked out. In my vision, I put that tomato cage there to have the mandevilla grow up. I saw a bunch of containers with mandevillas in the middle and they were gorgeous. So that's what I was thinking. It's not happening. So maybe I'll just remove, I don't know. I'm hoping it will still take off, but it looks kind of silly with the tomato cages. So let me go around this way. There's a red splendor flowering crab. It's one of my favorite trees here on the property, but you can see the trunk split. So we have stakes there, which we actually just removed the straps, but there were straps holding it together. And then my husband put the boards there trying to help it grow. So I think what we're gonna do, or not grow, but heal, is remove the boards and then not stake it, bolt the tree together. But I love it. It is, like I said, one of my favorite trees on the property. Love it. Ignore it, you'll see little toys around for my kids. So on this side, you can see same thing, whiskey container, phantom, whiskey container, limelight, container, phantom. So the phantom are actually holding up better than the limelights. All their blooms are holding up pretty sturdy. The blooms are about the same size as the limelight, but their branches, I don't know, they're just a little bit more sturdy, whereas the limelights, we've had several branches break off of them. And they're just like, they're struggling. And I know they're young. I'll prune them back. You can see where the branch broke. There's just like this bald spot right there. But I don't know, so far, I thought I would like the limelights. I already have 2 limelights, hydrangea standards that I've loved, and it's proven winners. So I felt like, ooh, I'm gonna like the limelights better. But as of right now, I think I like the phantoms a little bit better. I do want to back up. There's a fountain. I wish it was working. We're having some issues with it, so we need to fix it, but it's so dang heavy. It's hard to do yourself. So it's just kind of sitting there looking pretty, more like a statue. I planted up this rock garden earlier this year. I want to show you how it's filling in. It's filling in really, really nicely. I went back and I put some alyssum there. That's like pretty much like a creeping Jenny, Irish moss. It's called a voodoo sedum, silver mound, lamium. There's like a blue spruce sedum in there. This is just a mixed ground cover sedum, as said when I bought it. More alyssum, and then there's some bald spots that we shoved dirt in the other day that I want to put some more lamium. Oh, and there's some more lamium. And then I planted this strip up a few videos ago, not too long ago, and it's looking so gorgeous. Obviously, one of my faves. This is a David Austin Rose, Gertrude Jekyll. We have a friend, whoop, in there. We got a bunch of rain last night, so all the roses are kind of suffering right now, but you can still see how beautiful it is. And look at the size of the rose compared to the size of the plant. Tiny, tiny plant. Like the rose is bigger than the plant pretty much. So we have a lot of seeds. Oh, the rose just broke. I'm sorry. We have a hardy geranium. We have some echinacea seedlings that I planted. Delphinium seedling, foxglove. This is, I don't know. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on stuff that's not blooming. So I'll leave this video linked below. Go check it out. So go check out that video. You can go through and I tell you every plant there is. But I guess for July, I think I want to mainly focus on things that are blooming. And then like all the flower beds that I put in new this year are no dig, no till method. They have not been edged yet, like I said. So you're gonna see cardboard peeking along the edges. Because I like to leave, gosh, that rose, it keeps falling apart after I touched it. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't touch any more roses. Okay. But anyways, I like to leave a little bit of cardboard showing before I go through and mulch because, I don't know, it's just what I do. So, not mulch, but before I edge. So, once I edge, hopefully soon, then I'll add more mulch and you won't be able to see any cardboard, but you can see the cardboard along there. So I'm just gonna kind of move on quickly. There's a little bit of the Victoria blooming left. This is the Magic Show Ever After by Proven Winners. Another delphinium. You guys, I don't really have any white in my garden except for like this delphinium and lily, and I love how it glows. I think I need more white in the garden. So here's another David Austin rose that's just about to bloom. It's the, I never know how to say it, Esh Devi, I think. So we have some more Veronica that needs to get cut back. And then this David Austin rose. It is the Princess Alexandra of Kent. Oh, there I am going, destroying more roses. Man, roses just do not like the rain. It was pretty much near the end anyways. So there's that little cottage garden. I love it, especially give it 3 years because you know in the garden, first year they sleep, second year they creep, third year they leap. So it will look gorgeous. Okay, I just want to express the weeds in the driveway for a second because I'm sure that's driving some people absolutely nuts. I personally don't mind it. It kind of gives me this old time cottage feel, Anne of Green Gables going down in a little carriage. Like that's just kind of what I feel like. I do need to go through and weed that edge because that bugs me, but the weeds in the middle, that does not bug me. And I hope I don't lose some followers because I said that. Like I'm sure that will just grind some people's gears, but I don't mind it. Like it gives me this, like I said, old time cottage vibe. Okay, I know I said that last red splendor tree was my favorite, the flowering crab, but this is also my favorite. This is a blue diamond spruce. When we bought it, it said it grows ridiculously slow, like that it would take 10 years just to reach 10 feet. When we bought this, it was maybe 4 feet. We put it in 2 years ago. I think it's reached 10 feet. Like, do you see how tall those candles are? Is that what it's called? Like the new growth, we just grew like 12 inches in a year. What? And look at that blue color. I love it. I love it. So what we're doing is my husband used to work on a Christmas tree farm and they would go in twice a year and just shear off the tips. Just shear off the tips. And like anything else, when you cut it back or when you pinch something in the garden, it causes it to branch. So it comes back thicker, it comes back more full. Sorry, my arm got tired, I had to change arms. So that's what you do with Christmas trees to make them really thick, really full. That's what we're doing with this one. We want it to just look like a shining Christmas tree. So it's not gonna be like your natural tree shape, it's gonna be like overly thick and overly full, and that's what I want. That's what I want. I want it so thick where you can't even see through the branches. So we did that last year. I can already tell a huge difference. It was very kind of sparse, had some bald spots. I already see a difference from last year. Again, it's like one whole year's gone by, but also I think that really, really helped. And I love it. I want to show you this angle because, hold on, I just want to see how big does this tree get. I know we're one of the people that leaves the tags on. Okay, it gets 25 by 20. So 25 feet tall, 20 feet wide. Zone 3, and it smells so good. Which normally, I don't like the smell of spruce, but that one smells good. But I wanted to show you, I put a lemon cypress in this container, and I love that chartreuse green up against that blue. So here's another little container similar to the other ones, but it's a smaller, so lemon cypress. There's my first blooms of my geraniums that I started by seed. I think this was the apple blossom geranium. We have more Dusty Miller and some petunias. So There's a horse statue. As you can tell, we like horses. There's the string because my kids like to jump up on its back, grabs the string like it's the reins and rides them. My daughter, so she pretended to ride the horse into town. This right here, I'm disappointed in. It is starting to fill in a little bit. I envisioned it looking different. So this is right at the point of our driveway, and you can decide which way you want to go in. I think the reason why it's struggling is it's pretty much planted in gravel. So next year I'm gonna fill it, you know, but put a bunch of bags of compost and then plant in the compost, and just every year I'm gonna just have to add more compost. And I don't remember like what any of these are called. Obviously there's some waves that are major struggling. We have some zinnias. This is a type of fuchsia. We have dianthus that I need to go through and cut back. Coleus. It has some type of yellow flower. I don't know. We have some cosmos. Yeah. So not what I envisioned. There's some creeping phlox, but next year will be better. All we can do is learn, right? So there's that. So what we're going to do here, as you can see the white fence, we are going to extend the white fence all the way down because that's my cut flower garden. So extend the fence. That's why we just got the lines marked. It's going to stop at that arbor and continue down. We have some pretty Asiatic lilies, and this is about to bloom a white coneflower echinacea. So I love that. I don't know if you guys remember, I planted the shade garden. Yeah, still haven't mulched it. I ran out of mulch. I planted this before my surgery in May. Still haven't mulched it, but things are looking really good. So that's probably my next project, hopefully next week. I ran out of mulch, just haven't been able to get to the store. This is one thing I wasn't going to show you, but just trying to keep it real. So yeah. All right, moving on. All right, this is the garden bed that I put in last year. Obviously, need an edge. Grass is creeping in. But we have some Asiatic lilies that are pretty much at the end. But the yellow ones are at the end, and then these pink ones just started blooming. Look gorgeous, as you can tell. I like Asiatic lilies. We have some Cheyenne Spirit, echinacea that's just starting. Is that powwow? No, I guess I can't remember what that variety is. Hold on, there's the tag. Oh yeah, it is powwow. Powwow wildberry. That's why I like to keep my tags there. I need to figure out a better system that's not so ugly. So we have echinacea. We have some autumn joy sedum, lupin. You can see there's kind of holes. I had Jacob Klein bee balm in there, and it was just taking over. Looked like a complete mess. So a friend actually really loved that. So I dug up 7 clumps of Jacob Klein bee balm, and I feel like I can breathe. I feel like I can just breathe now. It's getting way too crowded. Need to cut back. I have a ring of dianthus, which looks beautiful when it's blooming, and then it just looks like a mess. I'm going to cut that back. I have mange. There's 3 mange lilacs. I know they're planted way too close. My husband liked that kind of grouping effect. So yeah, it just kind of repeats. There is some beautiful lupin. Wow, look at that. Gorgeous. So yeah, that's just kind of, it just repeats. There's, you know, echinacea, 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 and then sedum, 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 lily, lily, lily. We have some asters, purple asters that will look gorgeous when they bloom. But there's that. And then right over here, ignore, we are building a fence around our garden. You can see the posts over there. Building a fence. There's some raised beds that we're moving to the cut flower garden, but for now they look like a disaster. Oh look, more propane tanks. These are actually the ones that heat our house. We ripped out a fence that was over there. We took that out, so that's all that fence. We're going to be using some of that to build the fence in front of the flower garden. But here is a shade bed that I put in last year, and it's looking really good. So we have some Nishiki willows there on either side. I'm actually hoping it's supposed to get about 5 feet by 5 feet, but I've had a lot of people say it gets a lot bigger. So I'm hoping it will get bigger and cover up those propane tanks so you can't really see them, because they're just a necessity, but they are out there. So we have a bunch of hostas. I can't remember, you guys, all these videos of when I created these beds, I'll leave link below. So you can go check it out. I go through the varieties. I know this is like a drinking gourd. I love that hosta. It forms these little cups so then water can collect. And of course it rained last night, but no water. Probably all spilled out. That's a guacamole hosta. I know my favorites. There's another drinking gourd. It's tiny. There's heuchera. I think this is like a black palace maybe. Another heuchera. Another drinking gourd. We got a lot of those because they're my favorite. I think that's a Patriot. I do have a tag here for this one. What is this one? A forbidden fruit. That one's really pretty. I have a bleeding heart, bunch of weeds that need to get weeded, another Nishiki willow. I had a fern pop up here, but I'm kind of just want to leave it because I do like ferns, some more little ferns. Drinking gourd, I think that's another forbidden fruit. Like the hostas that are back there are the same up here. So there's the guac. I do have a mini bleeding heart that came back kind of struggling. So yeah, there's that one. It's planted around our oak tree. We did have a fire here. It was a miracle the house didn't burn down. So you can see it just completely wrapped around this tree. That was, man, 8 years ago, 9 years, how many? Yeah, 8 years ago, I think. 2015. Is that 8 years? Anyways, we had a fire wrap around. I thought it was like a gang of high schoolers going around just starting fires. Our propane tank, it somehow missed our propane tanks. It did burn down our greenhouse. We had a little greenhouse here that burned down. So sad, but I'm just thankful it was a miracle that nothing worse happened. This is everything that needs to get planted still. It looks like a mess right now, but when it gets planted out, it will look much better. Okay, this is my other rock garden. You can see we have some grass creeping in. So I need to deal with that, but I love this one. Absolutely love it. So there's sedum. Well, it's pretty much all sedum. Voodoo sedum, silver mound, Irish moss, a bunch of different types of sedum, lamium. There's more blue spruce sedum. Love it. I just love how it turned out. My daughter put a leader up there. She likes to play with it. Love it. And then this is a flower bed, or yeah, the shade bed that I just put in. And it's hard to tell because I have a bunch of plants that I need to plant on the other side. I just did this video like last week, so it will continue all the way around here. So you see a bunch of plants and pots over there. Those will go on this side. I guess maybe I should have moved them for this video's sake, but I really love how this turned out. Like all those pots will go on the other side. And then this flower bed here, oh my gosh, I forgot we put that there. Ignore that Christmas decor. Maybe I should have prepped a little bit more for this flower bed, but this is just real life, people. Okay, this is probably one of my favorite beds. I don't know, that I've put in the last 2 years. I really, really like it. So you can see I planted 6 clematis on either side of the garage. That thing is bugging me. So 2 of them I planted, or 4 of them, this one, that one, that one, and that one, I planted this spring. This one, literally it just finished its first flush. I love the little seed pods that it forms at the end. Love it. So we have some autumn joy sedum, Jacob Klein bee balm, type of Liatris, some echinacea, pincushion flower. I think that's butterfly blue. We have some irises that I just planted. That one's chilling out in the pot because I'm feeling it. I'm not or I put it there just to kind of see how I liked it. I think I'm gonna move it elsewhere. We have some gorgeous Asiatic lily. I love that. Yellow kissed with kind of that red throat. We have Virginia. We have some dark reader geranium that needs to get cut back. The last couple blooms are holding strong. So I'm gonna go shear that back. We have some daylily back here that's struggling. During deception, daylily. I thought it was dead and it just came back a couple weeks ago. There's a peony, and then this side kind of repeats it. So, you know, hardy geranium, daylily. Oh, this one's doing better. It's gonna bloom. I like that. A peony. I think I'm gonna move that daylily, not daylily, the iris, bearded iris, like I said. Virginia, variegated iris, echinacea, Russian sage. I love that Russian sage. Okay, this one looks better here. And I kind of love how it kind of swooped as it was growing. Love that. That's a proteus. Yeah, proteus. We have some bellflower, pincushion flower, aster, lupin, more liatris, more Jacob Klein bee balm, planted another clematis, autumn joy sedum, another Asiatic lily, and Virginia. I really don't like red in the garden, but that's gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna start moving closer to the house now, and I'm going to be quiet because it's early morning. I came out 6 in the morning. My whole family's sleeping. We like to sleep with the windows open, get that nice fresh air, and I just don't want to wake any of the kids. So if you hear me like whispering, that's why. All right, what a surprise, more lilies. Just look at that. How can you not like Asiatic lilies? This is a pink one. It's like the last blooming lily that we have. Hydrangea that needs to get cut back. Okay, I stepped away for a minute so I could talk louder. That hydrangea that I just pointed out to you, I have mixed feelings about it. Love-hate relationship. It blooms on old wood. So that means in zone 3, we have harsh winters. So it kills all of the old wood buds. It bloomed once. It bloomed once this whole time since it's been planted, and I put that one bloom in my wedding bouquet. It's a beautiful blue hydrangea. It was kind of hidden, so I'm not sure how it bloomed that one year. It was just meant to be in my wedding, I guess, but it has not bloomed since, for years. Love, hate because it was in my wedding bouquet, hate because it's just sits there and looks green, which is fine. Like, it adds nice structure. It's a beautiful green shrub, but I want something there that blooms. So I left, as you saw, the sticks an extra long time just in case it decided to wake up and bloom, but they're not. They're dead. So I'm going to cut back those sticks from last year's growth. And then every year in September, you can see it starts to get little buds, and then instantly we get our first frost, and then it's just done. But I saw something on Facebook, I think it was, where someone takes chicken wire and forms a cage around the whole hydrangea and shoves it with leaves and just stuff to insulate it. And he said that's enough to keep it protected, but he lives in zone 5. I'm like, what's to lose? I'll try it. So I'll be forming a cage around it, shoving it full with like straw, grass, leaves to hopefully protect it enough from the winter. And we'll see if maybe we can get some blooms, but that's why it looks like that. Okay, so more lilies. I love that one, burgundy with the white. We have some phlox just about blooming. There's a Weigelia that will never bloom, but I like the variegation. And a weed. Oh, and a bag. That must be for my kids. So I actually have 4 phlox here. 1, 2, and then 2 in back. don't get enough sun. So I will be moving those. Here's another Asiatic lily, gorgeous. Look at that, look at that. There's an autumn amber jubilee 9-bark. And then walking across my deck, kind of the same thing. Amber jubilee 9-bark, more, what a surprise, more lilies. Wow, a thistle, bull thistle growing. It's crazy, you don't see that until you're doing a tour. So here is a limelight standard. Going back this way. This is just what I showed you with the Weigelia and stuff. This is a limelight standard. It's massive. No pruning has been done on it at all, and it got very large. So all the new hydrangea standards I planted this year, I really want to prune every spring like you're supposed to. So we'll be pruning this one and all the new ones. I have delphiniums. I do have a cage in there and it grew outside the cage, so we got some nice movement, sweeping movement. Here's a spirea that's not doing well, so I think, and it's old, so I think I kind of want to take that out and put something else there. Delphinium broke in the rainstorms, but they were pretty much done blooming, so I just need to come cut it back. We have a barberry, and I'm not sure what kind it is, and I love it, and it looks like it's not doing well. You can see up there. It just looks kind of sparse. So I'm gonna be really sad if we lose that one, because it's one of my favorite shrubs along the side. Oh look, more lilies. I bet you're not surprised. Here's the same blue hydrangeas on the other side. More lily. This is just like the other one that I said was pink, and it's the last one that blooms, so that will bloom shortly. There is delphinium that is reaching my roof. Cannot believe how tall it is. I love it. Another limelight standard. And then here we have some phlox that are so close to blooming. That's one of my favorite phlox. I planted some Joe Pye weed there, but I want to move it. I just popped it in the ground like a week ago, and I already want to move it. Okay, here we have some liatris that's really close. Some yarrow that I just planted, more cardboard. Some yarrow that I just planted, another lily. This rose, this is supposed to be a miracle on the Hudson rose, and it's not. So I have another miracle on the Hudson I'll show you in just a second. It's supposed to look like this. It doesn't. It died completely back to the ground. So I don't know. I thought it had its own rootstock, but maybe it's grafted, because it came up with this pink. And before it even blooms, the rose looks sick. Like instantly the petals turn brown, crispy. Obviously that one needs to get cut back. But I'm just not happy with this rose. So I think I'll give it one more year to see if it pulls out. But then I think it's coming out just because it doesn't look healthy. It just looks sick all the time. I had some ajuga in here that I dug up because it just wasn't doing well. My silver mound, that's all that's left. I think it just gets too wet because it starts to die back. And I dug that up, we'll see. And then I put this campanula right here. It looks rough, but hopefully we got a new bloom here. Hopefully it pulls out. Everything here I'm just gonna kind of breeze over because nothing's doing fabulous. I just cut back a bunch of things. Salvia, there's dianthus, there's my storm cloud looking great. Daylily, same over here. Okay, I am literally obsessed with this rose. It is a miracle on the Hudson, and it is my longest blooming rose yet. I mean, there's a few close to being spent blooms, but look at all the new buds. Love them. Love them. I have a delphinium seedling that I planted this year that's about to bloom. Be white, that's the Magic Fountain mix. I have this Asiatic lily that I am obsessed with. Normally I'm not a huge fan of red, but I have two red winners there. Miracle on the Hudson Rose and this lily. I'm not sure the variety, but you can see the throats are like kissed burgundy and then they just kind of fade out to a lighter red, but it's not red red. It's almost like a, I don't know, peachy red. My silver mound is struggling. I think we just are too wet here. I don't think we can grow it. I think we get too much rain, so then it just flops. But let me know if you guys have any tips or tricks. I've read if you give it a haircut, like shear it back a little bit, it fills in thicker. I'm just not sure how far to shear it back. Dark side of the moon astilbes are about to be blooming. I have a bunch of seedlings in here that I just planted, but I'm kind of skipping over those. I want to focus on what's looking good. So there's some echinacea, foxglove, goldstrom rudbeckia is about to bloom, just starting to unfurl. Some more foxglove. And the winner of the show, I should have got out here yesterday. We had an unexpected rainstorm and you can see we lost one. But this is the David Austin Lady of Shallot. It is my favorite smelling rose that we have here on the property. And it's just, oh no, I should not have touched it. Dang it. Well, there's one left. And we have two others that are coming. But it's my favorite smelling rose. It's just the perfect, sweetest looking rose. Right in front of it, I have an ajuga that's looking great. I have a catmint whisper pink that I just planted. And in front of that, I have two bearded irises named Breaker. They're beautiful like blue. And then coming around the front of my deck, look at that, you guys. Look at the dew. This is a smoke bush. Now we cut this back. We like to cut our smoke bush back every other year. I know that sacrifices some blooms, but we like to keep a nice shape. And I don't know if it's just living in zone 3. I don't know, it seems like half of it almost dies back every year. So every spring we just cut out all the dead and it just looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I have some grass coming up through there that I need to take care of. This is one of my favorite hydrangeas. It's a quick fire hydrangea. You can see it's just starting to kind of pink up. Also known as a lace top, which it just kind of looks like lacy flowers all over it. It blooms about 3 weeks faster than any other hydrangea that I have. Blooms on new wood, so if you have really cold winters like we do, you don't have to worry about sacrificing blooms. And I just love it. It is big. It's probably like 7 feet tall. Yeah. But they have a dwarf version, a little quick fire that only gets about 4 feet. So if anyone wants that, run, go get it. This is a blueberry viburnum, and I don't like it. It's supposed to produce all these berries, and I got like a few, and it smells so bad when it's blooming. It smells like dirty gym socks. It's disgusting. I would like to take it out, but there's that. It's supposed to, like I said, it's supposed to get little clusters of blueberries. Blueberry muffin by viburnum, I think is the name, and it just doesn't, so I'm not happy with it, so it needs to go. Here is a 9-bark. I'm not sure what variety. I love the color. Love that dark red color. And this is the first year. Normally by this time it's covered in powdery mildew, and the fact that it's not covered right now makes me happy. I have another one right on the other side of this. Oh, yep, see, it's starting. It's starting to get powdery mildew, but the fact that it's waited this long to get it, I definitely like that. So this side mirrors that side. So 9 barks. You guys stay tuned because I want to do a container tour on my back deck. I have a lot of containers, so stay tuned for that. But you can kind of see one. So 2 9 barks, 2 viburnums, and then you can guess hydrangea. But a couple of things that are different. Oh, just look at that. Gorgeous. Is after the hydrangea, we have a rose. And I don't know what variety rose it is that needs to get deadheaded, but I'm kind of debating on just letting these turn to rose hips. I think that'd be really pretty. But this, this rose is crazy. This rose sends up suckers like no other. So if you want a rose that spreads, this is the one for you. I guess it would help if you had a name. I can't remember the name. My husband planted it before I met him. Oh my gosh, I keep touching roses and all the petals fall. Okay. And then this, I really like this. It's some sort of like golden cypress or juniper. I guess I can't remember which one, but I love it. It's planted too close to everything else. But I love it because it kind of peeks out. Everything here reminds me like a massive cottage garden. You know, cottage gardens, they're planted kind of close. You can't really see the ground. And I love it. That's my style. But I love how the smoke bush just kind of like creeps over the contrast between the gold and the dark purple smoke bush. So here's another smoke bush. Look at the leaves on this. Just gorgeous. I love using this in arrangements, but last year I had problems with that flopping so much, and I think it's because we cut it back. Like 9 barks, I know you need to wait for the stems to get woody. So, and that pretty flimsy. So I think next year, because we just cut it back this spring, we won't cut it back next year. Next year should be kind of strong. Here's another 9 bark. This is an Amber Jubilee 9 bark. Oh, we got some insects issues going on. Pretend you didn't see that. No, I have insects in my garden, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll see what I can do about that. Another quick fire hydrangea. So we have 3 of them and I love them. Love them. Here's another Amber Jubilee 9 bark. It's struggling. It's like half dead, probably because it's getting choked out by the hydrangea. But I just kind of love it peeking out. So obviously if I were to rip it out, I wouldn't put anything there because it would just get choked out anyways. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing and kind of creep out and peek out because I really like that. Here is a type of sumac that we cannot kill. It keeps crawling under the deck and coming out. But it's over, kind of taking over a rose. Here's another one of those same roses that are over there. Gorgeous. Here's some sort of grass. I have no idea what it is. For 90% of the growing season, I hate grass. I cannot stand grasses in the garden because I feel like I spend all my time trying to rip out the grass and, you know, keeping the grass from spreading into the borders of my flower beds. And it's like, then there's grass. And I think it looks messy to me. But then that 10% in the fall, when it gets like the seed pods and it turns golden and everything else is kind of shutting down for the winter, that 10%, then I like it. Then I like it. And moving over here, excuse the ladder, is probably one of my favorite shade beds. Look how gorgeous it is. It was missing pops of blue, so we got some hanging baskets of lobelia and just kind of shoved it under the hostas. And I'm sorry, you guys, because I don't know the name of really anything in here. There's another lobelia. I'm thinking that's like a Patriot hosta. That's a type of Virginia. You know, you have your heuchera. Is that ragwort back there? I'm not sure. This, I think, is called snake root. It's one of my favorites. Oh my gosh, I need that everywhere. Beautiful, dark foliage. It gets these beautiful white wispy blooms. Reminds me of an astilbe, but different. I have an astilbe peeking out there. and another astilbe. We have this hosta, and this hosta is actually in pots. I'm gonna plant it out. This one's kind of sad. It was tipped over for a while. It kept tipping over in the wind, and then the leaves got damaged. And then, let's see, this hosta here is in a pot. Did I say that astilbe? There's bleeding hearts there. So that, and that are in pots just sitting there. So I'm going to be planting them out elsewhere, but it's like our only spot of shade that is real good shade. So anything shade that needs to get planted, we just kind of shove there. All right, you guys, that is it. I think I got everything. Kind of breezed over a few things that wasn't blooming, but I think that's pretty much everything. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to do a tour of just all my containers and really go into depth with that. But that is it for this video. It's hard because everyone that comes over, they're just like, it's amazing, it's incredible. And all I see is just everything that's not. Like I see all the imperfections. I see everything that still has to get done. Like I see what it looks like in my mind and it's not there. So it's disappointing. That's why I haven't done any other tours until this one. But I was thinking, and it's like, I wish I would have done more tours last year, because I wish I could go back and look at the before and just see how it's transforming. So that's why I did this one. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your gardens. Don't just see the imperfections, like see everything you've accomplished. That's my little bit of advice for the day. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.